Welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I would like to discuss Chainlink, how it's currently performing, and what we could expect during the upcoming days. Therefore, I would like to take a look at the 4-hourly and daily time frame. But before doing so, I would highly appreciate if you could give me a thumbs up down below, and as well subscribe to the channel while doing so. So thank you very much already, and let's get started on Chainlink. So what you can clearly see is that I already opened up the 4-hourly time frame, and what I would like to explain to you right away is this descending resistance line. So we have seen already 1, 2, 3 touch points underneath this descending resistance. Therefore, this is a confirmed resistance line, and right now what we would like to see eventually is a breakout above it and finding support on top of it, and eventually seeing a move towards the upside getting created. That is exactly a scenario that we would like to see right now getting played, because if we do see this occur, it is very likely that we're going to create a trend reversal. So that is something I think is absolutely good to know. What else are we seeing? Well, we are as well seeing this minor descending support line. So we have seen 1 touch point, 2, and a 3rd touch point just a couple of hours ago on top of this descending support. Well, yeah, I will say that this is not a confirmed descending support line, especially because this was not a clear touch point on top of it. As well, if we do extend this line, you can clearly see that we can extend it until this point in time, and that we will be seeing the line still placed correctly. But I don't think this was a clear support being found on top of this range. Therefore, I don't think this descending resistance is actually a confirmed resistance line. But I've drawn this line especially because I actually would like to see if we do see a further decline in price action at support being found on top of this range, and perhaps heading straight back down, but not breaking down below this area, because that would be actually something that will concern me right now. Well, what other levels of support and resistance are we seeing? Well, clearly we are experiencing right now some resistance on top of us at the 23.6 Fibonacci at $20.87. Clearly we went all the way towards a touch point underneath, we got rejected, and right now we are actually trading underneath this range still. And what you can clearly see is that previously at the 38.2% Fibonacci, we have seen, well, resistance underneath, support on top, and afterwards we did see that breakdown heading towards the range where we are currently trading at. So therefore, right now what we would like to see is a support being found on top of this 23% range, afterwards a breakout occur and a move towards the upside eventually. Well, this being said, I would like to discuss the EMA ribbon. You can clearly see that the EMA ribbon is above us as a level of resistance for quite a while already, and right now it is actually aligned together with this descending resistance. Therefore, if we are going to see a movement towards the upside, we have to see a major increase in price action. Otherwise, we will for sure get rejected by the EMA ribbon once we retest this range. So that is something I think personally is absolutely important to monitor very closely. And if we head towards the daily time frame, what you can clearly see is that we are as well on the daily time frame experiencing resistance by the EMA ribbon, but a little bit further above. Therefore, if we see right now an increase in price action finding support on top of the 23% range and eventually breaking out above this descending resistance, we will have to see a major stronghold of resistance above us at the 38.20%, if you ask me, especially because we have seen previously support being found on top of this range, and as well we are seeing the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame as a level of support at the exact same point. Therefore, if we are going to experience an increase in price action, we will have to monitor the 38% Fibonacci very closely once we are heading towards a retest at that point in time. This being said, I would like to discuss right away the RSI. If we take a look at the RSI on the daily time frame, it does actually look very good to me, especially because we have seen a breakdown below the dotted line, and therefore I am actually expecting a stronghold being found where we are currently trading at, and eventually a movement towards the upside. And that is exactly what I personally think will occur right now. And what I think is important to know is to break out above this descending resistance on the RSI. If we do break out above it, it is very likely that we are going to experience more momentum towards the upside afterwards. So that is something I think is quite good to know right now on the daily time frame. And we are not seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergences, but clearly I think it is very important that we are breaking down below the dotted line, because if we take a look at previous data, Chainlink has not been this far below the dotted line in actually a major period of time. The very last time that we actually broke down below the dotted line was on the 20th of September of 2020, so that's more than 1 year ago, and the very last time that we were this far was on the 13th of March of 2020. So that is actually quite a long time ago, and what you can clearly see is that once we see that breakdown below the dotted line on the lower part, we usually see a major movement towards the upside on the daily time frame. Exactly here, that is what we've seen as well, and actually at this point in time we did see that major increase as well. So right now I'm actually very pumped about the development on the RSI on the daily time frame. If we head towards the 4-hourly time frame, it does look a little bit similar due to the fact that we are breaking down below the dotted line for sure. So that is actually something I think is quite good to know, and right now I personally think that we still have as well plenty of space towards the upside to see a further continuation of price action. So that is absolutely good as well. We are not seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence taking place right now. This is a slightly lower low than our previous low on the RSI, and that is exactly what we have seen as well on the chart. There is no bullish divergence here taking place, but for sure it is absolutely important that we are right now breaking down below this range, not only on the 4-hourly but as well on the daily time frame, and therefore I'm expecting major movement towards the upside on Monday for sure on Chainlink. Lastly, I would like to discuss the MACD, and the MACD does actually look very good on the 4-hourly time frame. We are losing momentum strength after we did experience already major momentum towards the downside for quite a while, and I personally think that the crossover is actually inevitable within the upcoming 24 to 48 hours, and that we are actually going to experience movement towards the upside during the upcoming hours. So therefore I am actually monitoring Chainlink very closely, because at the point in time when we are seeing a breakout above this descending resistance, I will be entering my long trade position, and I'm actually already opened up a long position on Chainlink. Once it retested this range at approximately $19, I entered a long position, and I personally think that we are going to see major movement towards the upside during next week, and that is something you do not want to miss out on. Lastly, I would like to discuss the daily time frame and as well the MACD, but before doing so, for the people who are watching and are actually willing to purchase Chainlink at this perfect buying opportunity, if you ask me, I think personally that we are right now at a perfect scenario for Chainlink to purchase even more of this crypto. If you are actually right now willing to purchase, do not forget to use the link down below in the description for Bybit, where you will be able to earn up to $3,500 deposit bonus for first time depositors only. So do not forget to do so, and let's get started on the daily time frame and what we are currently seeing on the MACD. Well, clearly what we are experiencing is more momentum towards the downside. We were actually seeing a momentum decline. Right now we are seeing a continuation of momentum towards the downside. We are not heading to any type of crossover, but for sure I think this is actually still looking very good to me, especially because if we head even further down, especially for example towards the 13th of March of 2020, because this was the point where we did saw on the RSI that major spike below the dotted line, exactly as what we're seeing right now. And if we zoom in a little bit closer to this price action on the 13th of March, you can clearly see that we actually were experiencing at the same point in time major momentum towards the downside. That is exactly what we are doing as well right now. And what I think is quite good to know is that eventually we did see a momentum decline, and we started this run up. Yes, it was a minor accumulation, sideways accumulation, but eventually we did saw actually this major movement towards the upside getting started, and something very similar to this I think could be quite likely to occur. But I'm personally expecting a move towards the upside more similar to what we have seen on, for example, the 20th of September of 2020 as well, one of the touch points below the dotted line as I explained you previously, and you could clearly see that we saw a major run up getting started. So exactly something very similar could occur right now. So if you did enjoy the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. It will be actually highly appreciated, and you will be supporting the channel by doing so. So thank you very much and have a nice day.